Have you ever wondered just how thin the line is between an adventure and a death sentence? This world has places where life just shouldn't exist. They're the rotten wooden planks of a ghost bridge in the middle of a vast forest. A clear glass floor looking straight down into a chasm hundreds of meters deep. Or a god's maze with 99 insane hairpin turns. Getting around here isn't just about moving. It's a breathtaking battle of wits with death. Every centimeter, your wheel veers off course, or every heartbeat that skips a beat before the abyss could be the last moment of your life. Right now, join me on a journey to conquer the most dangerous and insane routes on the planet. A place reserved only for the bravest souls, those who dare to bet their lives to touch the magnificent beauty of creation. Kuandinsky Bridge, Russia. The Kuandinsky Bridge, spanning the Vitim River in Russia's Trans-Baikal region, is definitely not for the faint of heart. Originally an abandoned railway project from the 1980s, this 570-meter-long ruin is a mix of a rusty steel frame and rotten wooden railway ties. At just 2 meters wide, barely enough for a car, the bridge sits precariously 15 meters above the raging river, with absolutely no guardrails. In winter, ice and snow turn the wooden surface into a death slide, while the wind, whistling through the steel frame, creates a creepy atmosphere when night falls. Drivers consider crossing the Kuandinsky a rite of passage. To survive, they have to roll down their windows to reduce wind pressure and be ready to escape if the wood breaks. Even though wheels slipping off happens all the time, the sound of wood creaking under the tires has a strange appeal. The solitude amidst the wild nature is a magnetic pull, urging adventurers to conquer their limits at least once in their lives. Tateyama Kurobi, Japan. Stretching across the northern Japanese Alps, the Tateyama Kurobi alpine route is a true marvel of adventure. Completed in 1971 for the construction of the Kurobi Dam, its history is soaked in the efforts of 171 workers in the legendary Kuroyon battle. The heart of the journey lies at the 2,450-meter-high Murodo Peak with its magnificent Yuki no Otani snow corridor. Here, you'll be overwhelmed by two vertical ice walls standing up to 20 meters high, equivalent to a 6-story building. Danger is always lurking from the thousands of tons of snow that could collapse at any moment, along with the challenge of sudden pressure changes. To conquer it, you need nerves of steel against the absolute power of nature. So why do so many people still yearn to venture into this dangerous place? The answer lies in the feeling of standing in a crack of the ocean, where the line between life and an avalanche tragedy is just a hand's breadth away. It's that very risk that creates the ultimate thrill, a priceless experience that everyone craves at least once in their life. Hussaini Hanging Bridge, Pakistan. Located in the Gilgit-Baltistan region of Pakistan, the Hussaini is dubbed the most dangerous bridge on the planet. At an altitude of 2,500 meters, this 200-meter-long rope bridge has a shockingly primitive structure. It's made of rusty steel cables and rotten, cracked wooden planks. The most terrifying part is the gaps between the planks, which are as wide as 40 centimeters. This space is big enough for a person to fall right through into the churning Hunza River below. The majesty of the Karakoram Range is a stark contrast to the dilapidated, haunting look of this structure, built by villagers themselves to break their isolation. The remains of the old bridge, destroyed by a storm in 2011, still dangle right next to it like a haunting warning. Despite all the dangers, Hussaini remains a mecca for adventure seekers, each trembling step on the bridge is an experience of the fragile line between life and death. But remember, absolutely do not look down at your feet if you don't want your heart to stop from fear. Precipice Trail, USA. Imagine you're walking on a rock ledge no wider than your foot. Welcome to the Precipice Trail, the sweetest nightmare at Acadia National Park. To conquer the 320-meter ascent on a series of nearly 90-degree vertical cliffs, you have to cling to a system of iron rungs and handholds driven directly into the rock face. Many sections of the ledge are so narrow they fit just 1 foot, looking straight down into the abyss, facing the vast ocean. Built in the 1920s, this trail is a marvel designed to create a true alpine climbing experience. It's also a sanctuary for the peregrine falcon, the fastest bird in the world, which makes the cliffs feel even more sacred and wild. Although it's well maintained, this place still holds deadly dangers. The tragic fatal fall in 2012 is a stark warning against being careless. The Precipice Trail challenges your hand-foot coordination and your ability to control an extreme fear of heights. Come here once to feel your heart pound as you take in the entire majestic view of the Atlantic Ocean. Kazurabashi Bridge, Japan. In Japan's Iya Valley, there's a path that leads straight into nothingness, called the Kazurabashi Bridge. It's 45 meters long and hangs 14 meters above a rocky, fast-flowing river. The bridge looks like a giant spider web, woven from vines and sparse wooden planks. The most dangerous part is the gaps under your feet, which are up to 20 centimeters wide, letting you see the abyss with every violent sway. Seen from above, the bridge looks like a mystical cord connecting two worlds. Born 800 years ago during the Heian period, the Kazurabashi Bridge was a survival tactic for the Heike clan. They built the bridge with vines so they could cut it at any moment to stop their enemies. Legend says the sound of the wind whistling through the bridge's gaps is the cry of ancient warriors, turning your every step into a journey touching a painful history. You absolutely cannot turn back once you've started. Come to challenge your courage. Hold on tight to the handrails and cross this intentionally fragile path at least once in your life. Dedvlei, Namibia. Located in Namibia, Dedvlei is a surreal and brutal masterpiece in the heart of the desert. Surrounded by the 380-meter-high Big Daddy Dune, a white clay pan appears with the black skeletons of acacia trees. They have been standing dead for 900 years, but haven't decomposed. The biggest challenge here is the scorching 50 degrees Celsius heat and near zero humidity. If you wander off the trail, death from heat stroke and dehydration can come within just a few hours. Dedvlei was formed when the Salchab River was blocked by sand, causing its life source to vanish forever. The place is linked to legends of souls that cannot fade away. These ancient trees refuse to rot, defying the flow of time. There have been real cases of visitors suffering strokes while trying to conquer the Big Daddy Dune. If you want to explore this place, start at 5 a.m., bring at least 4 liters of water, and absolutely do not touch the heritage trees. Bac Long Glass Bridge, Vietnam. Would you dare to bet your courage on a 40mm thick layer of glass over a deep, dark abyss? At Mok Chau, the Bac Long Glass Bridge is not for the weak-hearted. With a record length of 632 meters, this structure challenges your bravery with a transparent glass floor 150 meters high. On foggy days, you'll feel like you're walking on clouds to reach the sacred Muangmuk cave. But when the sun is out, the glass reveals the abyss right under your feet with perfect clarity, creating a powerful visual shock. Opened in 2022 with modern French technology, the bridge is a masterpiece of safety, but still a mental nightmare. The wind whistling through the mountain pass sometimes makes the bridge shake slightly, enough to make even the bravest people crawl on the floor. Walking on the Baklong Bridge is an experience of conquering yourself. Standing amidst the mighty wind, taking in the majesty of the northwestern mountains, you'll understand that this ultimate excitement is the most worthy reward for your courage. Tianmen Mountain Road, China. The Tianmen Mountain Road, located in Zhangjiajie, China, is known as God's Maze. This 11-kilometer-long road has 99 insane hairpin turns, symbolizing the 9 levels of heaven, taking visitors from an altitude of 200 meters up to 1,300 meters. Tianmen Mountain is a miracle of conquering Heaven's Gate after 8 long years of construction. With a gradient of up to 37 degrees and visibility often obscured by clouds, fog, or white snow, this is truly a breathtaking challenge. The road not only challenges professional drivers, but is also a mecca for wingsuit flying, where the smallest mistake is paid for with your life. Although visitors often face the nightmare of motion sickness, the feeling of being suspended on turns right at the edge of a cliff is more thrilling than any other experience. If you're brave enough to set foot here, the sound of roaring engines in the silent, vast forest and the feeling of overcoming your own limits will bring you ultimate euphoria. Chesapeake Bay Bridge, USA. More than just a transportation structure, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge in Maryland is also a formidable enemy for faint-hearted drivers. Stretching 7 kilometers, the bridge's highest point is 56.7 meters above the water, equivalent to an 18-story building. The most terrifying part is the low guardrails and narrow deck, which make you feel like your car will be thrown off by the strong gusts of wind from the ocean. Opened in 1952, the bridge became famous for causing gypherophobia, to the point that there's even a service to drive people across who get cold sweats. The 2013 tragedy, when a truck was blown off the guardrail by the wind, is proof of the heart-stopping danger here. The Chesapeake doesn't challenge you with muddy roads, but with a primal fear of the vast open sea. If you yearn to conquer your psychological limits and experience the feeling of flying in the open, windy air, this is the ideal spot for you to face. Karnali Highway, Nepal. The Karnali Highway, H13, in northwest Nepal, is known as a road not for the masses. It's a 232-kilometer-long muddy track, crudely carved into the side of a sheer mountain at an altitude of over 2,500 meters. Opened in 2007 to break the isolation of the Jumla region, the road is associated with local driving gods who have to align every centimeter of their wheels right on the edge of the guardrail-free abyss. With 85% of its surface being loose rock and blinding dust, some sections are only 3 meters wide, making travel here a life or death problem. The harsh reality has proven Karnali's danger, with at least 50 lives lost each year. Conquering this road means you have to deal with no cell service, no rescue, and be ready to sleep in the forest at any time. But if you're brave enough to venture onto the Karnali, you'll feel truly reborn after every death-defying turn. It's a breathtaking feeling that no action movie can fully capture. Lingpaishi Cliff Road, China. Perched precariously in the Taihang Mountains, the Lingpaishi Cliff Road is a breathtaking wonder, carved through the heart of a vertical limestone cliff. At an altitude of over 1,000 meters, this hanging road is nearly 2 kilometers long, but only 3 to 4 meters wide. Its modest width makes it a life or death puzzle for 2 cars to pass each other right on the edge of the guardrail-free abyss. The road is the achievement of farmers from Lingpaishi village who hung themselves on ropes using hammers and crude explosives to blast a way out of poverty starting in the late 1990s. Every meter of the road is soaked with the sweat and blood of those who fell. Although falling rocks and landslides are a constant obsession, Lingpaishi still has a powerful pull. You'll feel a thrilling sense of confinement standing between a solid rock wall and a bottomless chasm. Lingpaishi is living proof of the saying, "The most dangerous road is sometimes the most brilliant symbol of the human will to conquer." Abano Pass, Georgia. The Abano Pass in Georgia is one of the most dramatic routes on the planet, connecting the Kakheti region with remote Tushiti. At an altitude of 2,826 meters, this 70-kilometer-long road is like a jagged scar cutting through the high clouds. The road's surface here is extremely narrow and treacherous. Many sections are just wide enough for one 4x4 to move along the edge of the cliff. On one side is a sheer rock face, and on the other is a 1,000-meter deep abyss with absolutely no guardrails. Built in the 1980s, this is the only lifeline connecting ancient villages like Omelo to the world. However, the price of this connection is very high. Each year, Abano records 5 to 10 tragic accidents, with tombstones made from the wreckage of cars left along the road. You need a four-wheel drive vehicle and nerves of steel to conquer Abano. The road challenges how small humans are in the face of creation. But in return, you'll witness some of the most majestic, pristine scenery in the world that no book can fully describe. Kotor Serpentine, Montenegro. Connecting the old town of Kotor with the village of Njegushi, the Kotor Serpentine is a mesmerizing masterpiece for thrill seekers. At an altitude of 1,000 meters, this 8.3-kilometer-long road looks like an asphalt rope ladder with 25 winding, stacked 180-degree hairpin turns. The breathtaking part is the narrow road surface, the lack of convex mirrors, and the very low guardrails. This design forces drivers to reverse to the very edge of the abyss every time they yield to oncoming traffic. Seen from above, the last 3 turns of the road form a giant letter M, a testament to architect Josip Slade's secret love for Princess Milena from 1884. Although it's paved, the psychological pressure it creates is still immense when your tires are just a few short centimeters from the deep chasm. An important tip is to avoid peak hours with large buses and to never get distracted while driving. The Kotor Serpentine is proof of a truth. The most difficult roads always lead to the most magnificent sights on Earth. Trift Suspension Bridge, Switzerland. There's a place where the magical beauty of Swiss fog and the silent solitude of dying glaciers meet. That's where the Trift Suspension Bridge spans the Tianmen region at an altitude of 1,720 meters. At 170 meters long and hanging 100 meters above the glacial lake, this rope ladder is only 0.8 meters wide and connects 2 vertical cliffs. The extreme danger lies in the intense swaying every time the valley wind blows, making the bridge deck heave like the back of a monster. Looking through the gaps under your feet, you'll see the deep abyss and cold floating icebergs directly below. Built in 2004, Trift is a painful witness to climate change, constructed when the melting glacier cut off the traditional path. Despite being technically extremely safe, Trift still causes extreme panic, making many tourists crawl across the bridge after a challenging 1.5-hour hike. However, the feeling of absolute suspension between heaven and earth at the Trift Suspension Bridge will bring a glorious, awakening experience, challenging every limit of your courage. Capilano Suspension Bridge, Canada. Located north of Vancouver, the Capilano is a slender, 137-meter-long ribbon stretched across a lush green chasm. Hanging 70 meters high, equivalent to a 20-story building, this 1.5-meter-wide structure dares you to explore it because of the intense swaying with every footstep. Built by engineer George Grant Mackay in 1889 with primitive ropes, the bridge once had the nickname Laughing Bridge because of its ghostly creaking sounds. The real danger comes from the wet, slippery wooden surface and the extreme feeling of instability when standing in a crowd of tourists. Although modern engineering makes it extremely safe, Capilano still has potential hazards from human carelessness. The tragedy in 2012 is a painful reminder when a tourist died after intentionally climbing over the safety railing. But why should you still come here to challenge yourself at least once in your life? It's to face a shared sense of fear and to test your courage. Try letting go of the handrail in the middle of the vibrating bridge to take in the soul of the Canadian rainforest. Tham Ma Slope, Vietnam. In the old days, people brought horses here to test their endurance. Today, people bring their courage here to test themselves. Welcome to Tham Ma Slope, located on National Highway 4C in Hà Giang Province. At an altitude of over 1,000 meters, this 5-kilometer-long road appears like a soft silk ribbon with 9 challenging, stacked hairpin turns. The steep gradient and narrow road surface make every turn breathtaking. The name Tham Ma means evaluating the horse, originating from a legend about pack horses that could reach the top of the slope without collapsing, being considered prized horses. As part of the legendary Happiness Road from 1959, the slope was created from the sweat and blood of tens of thousands of youth volunteers who carved the rock by hand. Today, the danger of brake failure or crossing into the other lane at turns number 4 and 7 is ever present, where just a small mistake can lead to the deep abyss. Conquering Tam Ma is the first test of courage, a perfect stepping stone before you touch the majestic Ma Pi Leng Pass. Tarim Desert Highway, China. Crossing the Tarim Basin in China at an altitude of 1,100 meters, this 552-kilometer-long road is an audacious feat of engineering. With over 400 kilometers completely devoid of residential areas. From above, the structure looks like a fragile zipper trying to hold two dead pieces of land together. On one side is a modern flat strip of asphalt. On the other is a golden ocean of sand, always waiting to swallow the path. The extreme danger comes from the blinding sandstorms that can cover the road surface in just a few hours. Completed in 1995, the road is linked to the lonely desert keepers at pumping stations who care for the sand-blocking tree belt. A life-saving tip for you: bring at least 2 spare tires and dozens of liters of water because supplies here are extremely scarce. If you are brave enough to face highway hypnosis, the Tarim Highway is the ultimate test of your will and your courage to conquer the void. Klausen Pass, Switzerland. Connecting the two cantons of Uri and Glarus in Switzerland, the Klausen Pass, at an altitude of 1,948 meters, is an insanely winding road through vertical limestone cliffs. This 46-kilometer journey challenges all drivers with its ancient, extremely slippery cobblestone sections. The road is breathtakingly narrow, sometimes leaving bus wheels just centimeters from the edge of the cliff. Built in 1893 with dynamite and manpower, this place became a temple of speed, with the legendary Klausen-Rennen race starting in 1922. Along the road, scattered memorials are evidence of fierce crashes, especially at the deadly Kanzeli corner. Always listen for the distinctive three-note horn of the priority post buses and be wary of thin ice in the early morning. When your wheels lick the edge of the cliff, you'll experience the most memorable test of courage of your life. Mono Lake Chufa Towers, USA. If there's one place on Earth where you could mistake yourself for having just stepped out of a spaceship onto a strange planet, it's Mono Lake. Located east of the Sierra Nevada range at an altitude of 1,940 meters, the lake appears like an alien planet with sharp, ivory-white tufa limestone towers up to 9 meters high. The danger here doesn't come from the terrain, but from the chemical trap in the water, which is 2.5 times saltier than the sea, has a pH of around 10, and an extremely high arsenic content. These ghost castles were exposed in 1941 when the water level dropped by 12 meters, a result of diverting water to Los Angeles. Especially on windy days, toxic alkaline dust storms can cause permanent lung damage. Mono Lake is a game of endurance against one of America's harshest environments. Come to see the giant fingers reaching up from the mysterious toxic ground, where life exists only in the most bizarre forms on the planet. Spotted Lake, Canada. Spotted Lake, Kiluk, in British Columbia, is a surreal wonder, but it's full of chemical hazards. At an altitude of 480 meters, the lake appears with hundreds of mineral pools in various colors, from yellow and green to silvery white, looking like the surface of the moon. The extreme danger lies in the high concentration of magnesium sulfate and calcium, which can cause severe skin burns if you accidentally fall into the mud. Formed over thousands of years, the lake was once brutally mined to make gunpowder during World War I, leaving behind bizarrely shaped scars. Despite being toxic, the Okanagan Nation considers Kiluk a sacred healing lake, where each spot is a magical medicine. There have been documented cases of tourists getting stuck and suffering burns from illegally entering the sulfate mud zone. You can only observe the lake from a distance on Highway 3 to ensure your safety. It's no exaggeration to say that Spotted Lake is where nature displays its most incredible chemical power on the planet. So, you should try to come here at least once in your life. Royal Gorge, USA. Standing strong like a phoenix reborn from the ashes after the horrific 2013 fire, the Royal Gorge is a powerful testament to humanity's ambition to conquer nature since 1929. Located in Colorado, USA, at an altitude of 2,050 meters, the Royal Gorge is a massive but precarious steel wonder. This 384-meter-long bridge spans a vertical canyon, sitting 291 meters above the Arkansas River. The biggest challenge is the deck, made of over 1,000 rough wooden planks. Through the small gaps between the planks, you can see straight down into the abyss right under your feet, creating a feeling of extreme trembling. The Royal Gorge recorded the tragic death of a skydiver in 2003, as a reminder of the harsh test of courage for anyone who wants to try. The feeling of being suspended in the middle of the Great Canyon will surely be the most unforgettable memory of your journey. Province, Turkey. Pamukkale appears like a giant, snow-white frozen waterfall draped across the Menderes River Valley. Hidden behind its enchanting beauty, this system of limestone terraces stretching over 2,700 meters is actually a trap. The reason is that the surface of the travertine rock is as slippery as grease due to the constant flow of mineral water. The extreme danger lies in the mandatory rule to walk barefoot on sharp rock edges right beside the unfenced pools. With just one slip, you could fall straight into the abyss below. Formed tens of thousands of years ago due to geological shifts, this place is linked to the legend of giants drying cotton. Although it was once a healing center for the Roman Empire, Pamukkale still records hundreds of emergency cases each year from slips, falls, or falling into the deep chasm. Come to Pamukkale to feel the precarious balance between heavenly beauty and imminent danger. Every step on the white stone will be the most unforgettable experience of your life. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. Have you ever dreamed of a place where the sky and the ground become one, where every step feels like you're gliding on clouds? Welcome to Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat, located at an altitude of 3,650 meters with an area of over 10,582 square kilometers. During the rainy season, the perfectly flat salt surface turns into a giant mirror reflecting the sky, giving you the feeling of walking in the void. However, this route hides the danger of ojos de sal, or salt eyes hidden under a thin crust, ready to swallow 4x4 vehicles. Formed from prehistoric lakes 30,000 years ago, this place is tied to the legend of the tears of the goddess Tunupa. Although mesmerizing, Uyuni recorded a tragedy in 2008 where 13 people died because the driver lost their way. Here, the line between earth and sky is just a thin, magical ribbon. Feel the majesty of creation and find yourself again in the vast salt sea at Salar de Uyuni. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. If there were a gateway leading directly to the surface of Venus, it would surely be in Danakil. Located in the Afar Triangle, this is one of the lowest points on the planet, at 125 meters below sea level. The danger comes from temperatures that regularly hit 50 degrees Celsius and a high concentration of toxic gases. Just one misstep, and your skin will be instantly corroded by high concentration acid. Formed over millions of years of tectonic activity, Danakil is home to the Erta Ale volcano, the gateway to hell with its glowing red lava flow. For generations, the Afar people have risked using camels to mine white gold from the scorching earth. This is also a sensitive border area where attacks on tourists occurred in 2012 and 2017. Therefore, the government requires you to have an armed security escort throughout your journey. In Danakil, magnificent beauty and brutal death always go hand in hand. The line between life and danger is sometimes only as thin as a wisp of sulfur smoke. Blood Falls, Antarctica. Located at the Taylor Glacier, Blood Falls is a terrifying 20-meter-high site set against a white snow background. The deep red water, like fresh blood, flows out of a crack, trickling down to Lake Bonny, creating a gruesome beauty. The danger comes from the 320 km/h katabatic winds and the cold below -60 degrees Celsius. Just one small flaw in your protective gear, and death will freeze you in minutes. Not to mention the hidden crevasse traps ready to swallow anyone. In reality, this is an ancient saltwater source trapped under 400 meters of ice for 2 million years. When pressure forces the water out, the iron content reacts with oxygen to create the haunting red color. In 1911, explorer Griffith Taylor was terrified and saw it as a spiritual sign, but science later found ancient microbes that survived without light. You can only access this place by helicopter with specialized equipment and nerves of steel. Seeing the Earth's resilient blood flow in the harshest place on the planet is surely a peak experience for souls who crave to conquer. The world always hides brutal beauty, where the line between a wonder and an abyss is just a single step. The journey to conquer these deadly routes, from slippery limestone ribbons to the mysterious blood falls, has surely made your heart skip a beat. Which place on this list impressed you the most? Are you brave enough to venture into these forbidden lands one day? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next heart-stopping journeys. See you again.